Hey everybody, this is Zach from the Weekly Transformer. Doing a quick top 10 of my favorite figures that I got this year. This isn't the best figures necessarily, this is what I like the most. I'm going to stick to mainline figures for this, and just it's a combination of things. The reason I like these figures comes down to deco, the transformation scheme, the way the bot mode looks, the way the vehicle mode looks. By no means there's probably going to be a lot of unpopular opinions in here. Maybe some weird stuff. Maybe some stuff that people think are kind of like, that's not a good figure. But again, this is my personal thoughts. I like these figures for various different reasons. Again, I'm looking at transformation, looking at colors, looking at alt mode, and looking at what the bot mode looks like. Feel free to give me your thoughts and opinions. I greatly appreciate those. And thank you guys so much for watching. This is my first year trying anything YouTube. Also have an Instagram on the Daily TF. Started that back after BotCon when I really wanted to do something to engage with the Transformer community some more. So without further ado, let's take a look at my top 10 figures for this year. And you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Coming in at number 10, something we've seen several times, that being the Siege/Earthrise Sideswipe mold. Of course, this is Clampdown, and that is specifically why he is on the list. I really like this figure. I was not able to get the Red Alert, and I really like this mold in the white color scheme. I like that he came with all the accessories this time, and I just think this is a very, very slick looking alt mode. And again, this transformation, it's classic. It's been around since 2018, I guess. And I still think it's a great transformation scheme. I love this mold. But since we've seen this several times, I wanted to put it on the list, but he's going to tie for number 10 with another one here, which is Bumblebee Movie Brawn. I really enjoy this figure. Hadn't actually seen him on the shelves here. A buddy of mine, he actually ended up with two, so I got one off of him. He's got an all-unique transformation, which I love. He's got this crazy big gun, which, you know, kind of fits Braun's personality. And again, I love his transformation. It's totally new, totally unique. The only thing that kind of puts him lower on the list is his head articulation is just some side to side. It's not really there. But other than that, I mean, this is a great figure. And it was hard to put him this far down on the list. There are just some other options out there that I like a little bit better. Coming in at number 9, we have Slicer / Shattered Glass Wheeljack / Energon Slicer Wheeljack with the exo suit here, or Black Rarichi, or Fast Track mold, whatever you want to say. This guy comes in on my number 9. Again, these are things we've seen before, but I like what this pack is. I like what this pack is homaging, the way it's pulling double and triple duty, and I really love this deco of the Wheeljack mold. And again, I still love that transformation. I love that alt mode. I'm not going to put him in alt mode because we know what it looks like, but it looks great. And I love the included extra accessories here. It's cool that they did that. That shows us something that they're willing to do. Again, to refresh a mold a little bit by adding these new guns here, and then even the exosuit here. I really I like this color scheme better than I thought it would in the promo images, even on screen now, but in hand I really like the expressiveness of the mold, and I like the I actually like the colors in this mode. In alt mode, I don't like the colors whatsoever. It just doesn't work out for me. But that's one of these guys are hitting my number 9 spot because of what the designers are doing, you know, with pulling in the Action Master looks and the Energon and the Shattered Glass and all this stuff. I just think it's a really cool thing, and it's cool to see them doing that. It makes me hopeful for the things that they'll bring us in the future. So number 8 here really surprised me, and it's a figure that I picked up just on a whim because I had nothing to buy that day and just saw it, and that is this Cyberverse Slug, or Slag. This thing really surprised me with the materials that are used. Feel solid. I think he has some excellent paint on him. I love the head sculpt. I love the blazing blue visor here. He came with 3 accessories, an axe, a gun, and a blast accessory, and then actually the axe here you can pull out and pop into here, which also stores in his Dino mode. The transformation for this thing is not a simple one. It actually has some very, I won't say advanced steps, but some very some very surprising steps that I didn't know that these Cyberverse figures did. This was my first Cyberverse figure, and it just blew me away. And for the price point, I was like, wow, it just really, really blew me away what this guy does. And even he looks solid, turning them all the way around here. There's hollow gaps. There's not actual, well, these are kind of hollow gaps, but they're not really. They try to fill them in with pieces of the tail, which it's not, ooh, hit the camera there. It's not perfect, but just wow. Just maybe that's why he's on this list. I think he looks great in bot mode. I love his Triceratops mode as well. I think it looks wonderful. He even has an articulated jaw in his dinosaur mode. And so that's what's landing him on my number 8, because just, again, very surprising figure. Great price point, great build quality, great transformation. Transformation does some surprising things. Pick this guy up if you can still find him. He's a really, really good figure. Very enjoyable. Occupying my number 7 spot is another one that I was very surprised by, and that is Bumblebee Movie RC, who wants to fall over right now. But man, what a great figure. This was my first Fembot in the collection, I think. No, I have Override as well, or I had Override. And God, I was just blown away by the transformation. I love what it does. I love the way that the alt mode looks. I love the coloration on here and the breakup of the design. The design of this is beautiful. The head sculpt is gorgeous as well. Painted eyes, a little crest, paint on the ears there. This is just a wonderful, wonderful figure. I highly recommend picking up RC here. She's a joy to play with. Her posing is amazing. Her proportions are beautiful, and her feet do this little wheel thing here, which I think was just super, super cool and adds some playability to it, because we don't get a lot of playability in figures now. And the fact that she can come up on wheels, it makes her look great. Articulated backpack here. This is just a wonderful, wonderful figure. Pick up RC if you can find her. And she's my number 10, 9, 8, 7 spot. Hard decision, but she's a great. Now for my number 6 pick, something that might be kind of controversial in the community to some folks, because there was a lot of kind of back and forth trash with this, and that is the Earthrise Ironhide mold. Of course, this is the DK2 Guard that was released this year, and I was never able to get the original Ironhide. I missed out on that pack on Amazon, and I really wish I would have gotten it, because I really want Prowl as well. But, I really love this mold. I know there's a lot of hate about it, and it's not perfect. It has some issues. The biggest complaint people have with this guy are, well, I guess there's 2 big issues. One, of course, we have the feet hanging off the black, which this deco hides very well, I feel. And then the roof parts for me. And honestly, that doesn't bother me. The original Ironhide figure, it parts for him. So I don't see why this was such a big point of contention in the community. I wish they would have given him like the treads to maybe put on this. I know there are upgrade kits, you can do that too, but I love this mold. I love this van. I think it looks great. I think the figure's awesome. I love the posability. I love the transformation. It's not hard, but it's not, it's enjoyable to me. And I love the look of this. I love the deco. I love a black repaint of something. Give me a black repaint and I'm going to buy it all day long. Actually, I don't have Skids, but I have Burnout, because it is Burnout, right? Burnout sitting over there somewhere. Yeah, I have Burnout because black mold. I love a black deco. So I thought this was great, and I was super excited to get this because I thought I would never get that Ironhide mold. But when everyone started selling off of their Earthrise Ironhides because the Studio Series 86 one came out, I was able to finally get the Earthrise Ironhide, which again, I think is a great looking figure. May not look as good as this one, but hey, he's got a yellow stripe down him, which the Studio Series 86 one doesn't have. And honestly, I kind of like him better. His head, maybe isn't as accurate. The 86 Studio Series 86 one does look better in that aspect, and in general has a more screen accurate bot mode. But I like this transformation, and I'm really not a fan of the van that the Studio Series mold makes. The biggest thing is that its roof parts that make the Studio Series 86 Ironhide, man, they are plastic, and there are some plastic tabs in there that you have to force and push in, and I'm afraid that that's going to break. And then the back tailgate, it doesn't like to stay clipped in together. And so again, I like this better than the Studio Series 86 one. That's not to slide. I love the engineering on the Studio Series 86 one. I love what they did. I think it was an amazing feat of engineering on that figure. But from my objective standpoint, I just like this better. And again, I was super stoked to be able to get this and then be able to pick that up for a great deal. Definitely got him for, a third or something that he was going for. So my number 10987, number 6, goes to DK Guard, Earthrise Ironhide, however you want to look at him. Coming in at my number 5 spot is going to be Bombburst, also known as Blood, which is a way cooler name than Bombburst is to me. Man, I love this guy so much. I really like the Master Force characters, and I really love the way that the design team is putting the Pretender shell and the bot mode combinations into the bot modes on these Pretenders they're putting out, like Skullgrin. We don't get the 3 separate pieces. We don't get the vehicle and the Pretender shell and the robot. But what I find that they're doing, and they're doing a great job of it, is combining that robot and the Pretender shell into kind of the same amalgamation of a figure. I love this guy. I love that you can store the wings on his back here to give him kind of the wing look that he had on the original toy. The guns are accurate to the original toy. This axe is accurate to the original toy. And I just love this thing. And actually, this guy would be higher up my list. But here's where we're getting a little nitpicky on some stuff. Like, his waist seems a little out of proportion to me. A little tiny waist. So it's kind of like, that knocked him down a peg because I had to really start getting picky about some stuff. But his articulation is great. He's a core class figure, and the stuff that they can do with a core class figure is amazing. Like, this is amazing compared to something like Ratchet. Didn't like him at all. Just didn't like him, didn't tab in, didn't like core Laserbeak either. But this stuff, this is great. And his alt mode is amazing too. And that's the other reason this is higher up on my list, because my list is made up of, alt mode, my general feelings, and the bot mode, and the alt mode is one reason why I like this guy, and I'll show you that. So again, this is the other reason he hits my number 5 spot. This alt mode is a dead ringer for the show model, the Master Force model, and the transformation is simple and effective. And a simple and effective transformation will always win points in my book, major points. It looks like the original toy, but better. It's a great new interpretation, a great update to an old toy from the 80s. Of course, on the bottom, it's not super clean, but here, everything else, this looks great. This paint looks great here. I love the color breakup with the different molded plastics, and even underneath, this is painted on here, but I love the way this all breaks up. I think the storage of the axe on the front to make the gun, I think that's very clever. And small little details like these vents are molded, but then they're painted as well, and it gives this beautiful color breakup. I mean, I love this figure so much. It was hard for me to put him at number 5, but I'll show you the reason why. And so the reason that Blood, Bombburst, whatever you want to call him, he's Blood to me, came in at number 5 is because of Iguanus. Iguanus is my number 4 pick for this year, and because, man, he showed us what a core class figure can be. Previously, the Soundwave core class figure was really good. The Optimus was the Starscream mold was pretty cool, but not perfect. But man, this guy looks so dang good. And I mean, look at all the paint on this guy. And the way that it lays out and the breakup of it all. I mean, this is a cast fist with beautiful black paint around it. There's a ton of paint on this weapon. I mean, the budget for this core class wave, it all went into him. That's why we're getting another Soundwave. That's why we got another Optimus Prime and Megatron release, all that stuff. Of course, those always sell. But man, they put so much time and effort and money into this. I think it is gorgeous. The alt mode is clean. It's kind of a weird, Cybertronian cycle thing. This weapon is kind of weird, but the coloration on it makes it look excellent when posed with him. I love this figure so much. He's got the ankle tilts and everything. Of course, that's due to transformation, but, we get ankle tilts on him. We get ankle tilts on a Bombburst Blood over there. I think that's an amazing thing, and it shows what you can do with a core class figure and a core class budget if you have the timing there or the funds there with everything else out in the wave. So he's my number 4 because he looks so good. Again, I honestly like Bombburst better, but he looks better. So that's why he hits my number 4 spot. Okay, so now we're down to the top 3, and this was a hard choice here to make. And I've gone back and forth with where to put him, and I've had to really think about why I wanted to put him where I put him. Number 3 is coming in with the Legacy Inferno. Let's adjust the camera here a little bit. And man, this guy is looking freaking amazing. He looks so good. His head looks great. He's got the articulated jaw, which is amazing. That's knowing that they can do that to a figure now. That's super, super awesome to know. He comes with his blaster, which of course plugs into his back. They give him the flight mode. They gave him the flight mode. His ant mode looks great. He has articulated mandibles in the ant mode. He has articulated antennae here. I mean, what an awesome figure. This is one of the figures I was most excited about this year, and he looks great. He hits number 3 because it's, again, we're getting nitpicky now. All the legs make posing him kind of annoying sometimes. You have to get all that junk out of the way. The transformation is cool, but it's nothing like it. I don't know. It was a feels. I'm at the feels part now. I didn't, it didn't spark anything in me. I do like the way the head opens up and the mandibles store in there. I think that's a great feature. Be aware that there are some small ridges on the hinges here, and to shave those down or not, you're going to put stress on this thing and break it. But I can't say enough. This guy is amazing. He looks so dang good. And it was hard to put him at number 3 instead of number 1. But there are a couple of reasons I'll get into here in just a moment with my next picks. Okay, so now time for one that people are probably going to say, why did you pick that instead of Inferno? But it's the feels. It's this guy. It's Dragstrip. I didn't have a lot of exposure to the Stunticons or have any connection to the characters necessarily, but this was probably the first Legacy figure I picked up this year, and man, I was blown away by his posability, his expressiveness. There's just something about him that I like, and this is the feels part again. It's a new transformation that I really enjoy, and I really like this guy, and I'd completely forgotten about him actually. Oops, hit my camera there. He's just been hanging out on my Minosaur for a while now, and I forgot about him, and he probably wouldn't have even made this list if the other day I hadn't gotten this guy, which, like I said previously, I love a black repaint. And man, the stuff that, man, you keep falling over. Oh, there we go. The few complaints that I could have about Dragstrip were remedied in Shadow Strip here, namely being the plain legs kind of just blend in, and carrying out the stripe through here, which I'm not sure why they couldn't just carry the stripe over here on this one, but carrying it over on this and painting these kneecaps makes them look not so plain. I cannot keep from knocking stuff over right now. But man, what a fun mold, what a fun figure. Even small things, like, to me, I see an evolution here of things that they moved on with. Like here, we had black pegs that hid the wheels. They were yellow up here. I get that because of the way it's cast. Even on Shadow Strip here, it's all molded black, so it kind of blends in. It looks more like a hub, and with gold trimmed out rims. I mean, it's just a great figure. It's a fun mold. I love the way he poses. He stood on my desk for a long time. He stood on my desk for a while. Iguana stood on my desk for a long time. He actually did. Slug Slag was on my desk for a minute too. But these guys, again, the first Legacy figure I got this year, I think, and I loved him, and I was reminded how much I love him when I picked him up the other day. So now on to, about to be on to number 1, but I want to do a couple honorable mentions. All right, so we're going to rapid fire these. So could be on the list, but I didn't put them on here, is Sludge here. Looks good. Love the Dino mode. Love the painting here. Love an articulated neck, but mine doesn't like to stay tabbed in there. Also, my joints were kind of weak when I first got him, so I had to fix those. So he didn't make the list for a few reasons there. Other than that, we have Skull Grin. Again, love my Pretenders. Love the way they combine the bot and the Pretender mode. The tank mode looks okay, but is not great looking, and I don't really super enjoy the transformation. Again, that's why it knocks him out of the list, but I love his weapons that came with him. I think this is a super cool figure. Next would be Pterosaur. I think he came out this year, or maybe he didn't, but I know the Recolor Target one did. Cool figure, looks great, but is not super clean in his alt mode, and he suffers. Every one of these molds I got have suffered from wiggly ankles, so he's off the list. Receptor. Gorgeous figure, super gorgeous figure, but also kind of boring. But I mean, man, he looks so good and so solid, except for this hollow spot in the back. Other than that, he is a great representation of this character. But he didn't hit my list because I didn't get as much of the feels with him as I did other ones. Boom. Tarantulas, again, hard not to put him on the list. He looks great. super show accurate, cool things in the transformation, but he just didn't hit me on the feels like some of the other ones did. Here's a weird one. He wouldn't have made the list, but I want to mention him. That is Slammer. I really like this guy. I think he looks super cool in his robot mode, but his alt mode is kind of boring in a way. But I think that he looks great in bot mode, and he poses great, and so he is an honorable mention. Another one, and that is, boom, our good old friend who can't fit in the frame here because he's too big. If I can get him, let me pull it out here some. There we go. Blitzwing. Man, his bot looks freaking fantastic. So much silver paint. Love the color breakup. He didn't hit my list because he's, he got 3 modes, and that jet is kind of, it's not the best. And even the tank is kind of hollow with a weird cockpit hanging off the front. So I couldn't put him in because of that, because this had to be the combination of bot and alt mode that made me put you on the list. Other than that, what else do we have here? 2 more just for fun. I just want to mention Red Cog. I think this guy's super cool looking. I love the red and black deco. There it is again, with me loving a black redeco or something. He was definitely priced too high, but he went on sale about 1 million times at Target, so I got him, and you get all these fun guns with him. And lastly, I couldn't put him on the list because technically this is not a new character or a new mold or anything like that. But if I can get him to stay together here, because he's decided to come apart on me. It was Scorponok re-release. Man, I never got this guy as a kid. Never. Always wanted him. So when I had the chance to get him this year with a re-release, I was totally down for it. Man, he stood on my desk for a long time. What a fun figure, a fun toy. Great, great figure. Love him so much. So now, let's check out what my number 1 pick for the year is. And my number 1 figure for the year is none other than the most sought after 4 figure, that being Cosmos here. Man, what a fun little figure. Beautiful paint. The alt mode is kind of boring. I will mention that. I will go ahead and say that because it's just a disc with a trash can on top. I did a review of this guy. Go check it out. It was my 2nd review. It's not a very good review, but look at it if you want to. Also made a stop motion that was kind of fun with him. But man, paint on this guy is gorgeous. Looks really solid. A couple pops of yellow that breaks up the alt mode, so it's not, as smooth as it could be. But looks great. And so he's hitting number 1 on my list, and I'll tell you why. Transformation and alt mode, or bot mode. Man, the transformation for this guy was totally new, totally unique, totally fun. I had so much fun when I first got this guy. Again, he sat on my desk for a long, long time. He's, to not have a mouth and just to be a little rotund robot, he is very expressive. He can get into some great poses. We've got lots of head tilt with him that makes expressive posing so great. His accessory, the flag, that's kind of weird, but I like his gun. I like his arms. Hollow space here, yeah, whatever. I think it blends in nicely. His transformation does some cool things. The way that the back pulls out to allow the head to come up. If you don't pull it out, that's not going to happen. The way the heels click in here to make a heel spurs on him. It's just, man, what a great figure. Love this guy so much. Actually, I made this top 10 list before, and I put Jetfire in here, and then realized, or Shatterglass Jetfire, and then realized that was last year that he came out, so I had to redo the whole thing. And after doing that, that's what bumped him to my number 1 spot. And really, it was between him and Inferno at one point. But when I got to really thinking about it, man, this guy is my number 1 figure for this year because I had so much fun with this guy. Love him. Looks great. So there you go. There's my top 10. Mainline figure releases of this year are, stuff that you could get easy enough access to either through Hasbro Pulse or you could pick them up off the shelf for the most part, no matter if they were exclusive or hard to get or whatever. You could still get them fairly easily. So this, if we were talking third party and other figures, figures that didn't come out this year, I could have a whole nother list. But these are figures that came out this year from Hasbro that are my favorite. So thank you so much for watching, for staying till the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this YouTube thing with you. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those fun YouTube things. There's a little button somewhere down here that you can click to subscribe. Again, thank you so much. God bless.